Hello, everyone. Such a pleasure to be here. Can everybody hear me okay? Good. Well, first, thank you for this opportunity again. I'm really happy for the passion to connect, to discover, and to go deeper into a beautiful game called Awakening. So I'm really glad. It's really rare to find pure hearts with pure intentions and the desire to go for it all. So I'm really feel honored to have this opportunity to share, to interact, and to explore this together. So yeah, I don't know, how do we start? I can start many different ways, but I like to hear where you guys are at, any questions or anything. I know last time we didn't have so much chance to interact because it went the way it went, but here we are. So let's take advantage of this opportunity to be together, and anything I can clarify or anything I can talk about, I'm happy to do it. So how you guys doing?
You can talk now. You can listen.
Very cold here, it's winter now.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Perfect.
What's the weather like in Spain?
Good. Well, it was been sunny until yesterday. Yeah, now the weather, I don't know, for some reason, just the temperature went down. It's colder, but it's great. Beautiful up here. I know that over there is getting really cold.
Yes.
But really cold. Here is like getting started to get warmer and warmer. So yeah, you should guys come here, and then next time I'll go there.
Yes.
Getting a ticket tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hello, friends in Beach Haven.
Hey.
I'm a friend of that lot over there, sitting together.
Mm.
Hi, Lilian. Hi, Gemma. Hi, Gavin. Sorry, I don't know your name there on the left hand. Mark?
Mike.
Mike. Hi, Mike. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this. So yeah, I'm excited to be joining you guys.
Mm.
Very excited for something new. Yeah, so I don't know if you know Sarkhan, but we've been doing Ascension for quite some time together as a group with Mahima. For me, maybe even 7 years this year. But lately I've been really drawn to this meditation that Mahima shared with me, like maybe that was January. It's the I Am meditation, guided meditation by that Buddhist nun, Sarayana, is it, Mahima? I can't remember. And I've been really drawn to that. And I think for 2 straight weeks, I've been doing that every day, even sometimes at night if I would wake up. It's been really beautiful thanks to that. Like my mind's been in such a different space. So yeah, that's where I am in terms of like a journey of the mind, if you would call it like that. Yeah, my daughter started school today for the first time, so it's a super exciting day also for that reason. And it went really smoothly, really well. She's happy. We're all happy. Okay, that's me. Oh, my name is Alex, by the way, Alexandra.
Nice to meet you, Alex. Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
Well, actually, I'm gonna start with a beautiful subject that you just mentioned because it's really important, I think, from going forward. Alex mentioned a really honorable person that for me, I take my hat off, which is Nisargadatta Maharaj. He's a spiritual teacher from a long time ago. Of course, he passed away. And he was a really intense guy, literally yelling all the time. He was really humble guy, and he used to work selling cigarettes in India. And I came across his teachings not that long ago, just recently. I've heard of him like a while back, but I didn't really understand fully, completely, in a deep way, his words. The place I was hearing his words before were filtered by concepts, spiritual concepts, sensations, and things like that, that made me not really integrate fully what he and other teachers were sharing, or really important gurus or teachers of really like Jesus, like my hat of, like I said, like there's only a few of them, and he was one of them. So I came across his teachings because they resonated with me in a deeper level like never before. Like nothing before that resonated as full as that kind of like a way of exploring or sharing consciousness or awakening. I've been in a lot of journeys, different paths. Of course, many of you know that I used to be in the same journey as you were or are, I don't know. I used to be in another spiritual path. Before that, I used to be with shamans. I've been in search for truth for a long time. That was the basic impulse from me. I was, I don't know how you say it, intense in finding truth. I didn't care if it was nice, beautiful. I don't know. I was just wanted to find truth. There were so many questions within myself that I needed answer. And then became really clear that I needed to awaken. There was a moment that awakening, enlightenment, and those things kind of like started to be more present, possible. Probably not in this lifetime. That's what many people say, or I thought at the beginning. But my passion for truth was, unwavering. So I shared like last time in the last meeting we had, kind of like some experiences that I've been having for the last time. And for me, my role now is to clarify the journey, which is a really simple journey. The journey to full realization, which is really different from a spiritual awakenings, okay? And I need to be clear with this, because in many paths, journeys, techniques, the mind can get so powerful that it can create sensorial experiences which can probably justify themselves as awakening or truth or unity. The mind is really powerful, that's why I'm introducing new kinds of ways of exploring and clarifying some concepts, because full awakening is really different from awakening or spiritual advanced high levels of consciousness. Is really different. It's like another journey, a different journey. And when I say full realization and full awakening, it's a different kind of breakthrough, let's say, breaking for good and completely all illusion and duality, like done. Which when you go to your heart, there's a part of you that says there has to be a point when this is finished. You know, many spiritual books or teachers even the really old ones, sacred books, that's the way they are known, for example, stories and things like that, they always point out that there's a moment that is done, is finished. You know, like it's a moment of sacredness, of beauty, of clarity, and self-realization. And something that Alex mentioned, that, and I want to point it out, until that moment, everything is mind, everything is illusion, everything is duality, until that moment. Not before. Before is just mind games, illusion games, sensorial games, and they're part of the journey. There's nothing wrong with it, of course, but it's important to clarify, because the traps of the mind and the illusion are really strong. And the strongest ones, and the ones that are more difficult to break from, are the spiritual ones. The spiritual illusion is the one that is hardest to break, but also the easiest ones to break with proper guidance and clarity. The mind will try to give you everything that you desire in all levels, even in the spiritual level. If your desire is to, let's say, experience unity or freedom or love or whatever, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with nothing of those things. The mind can create them for you. For a long time, they can create it for you. So you can be having a unified experience for a long time, and then it will be gone for sure, because mind it only works in time, it works in concentration, in perpetuity, and thing that has to go with time and space. That's what the mind does. It works in those realms. So of course, like I said, the mind is so powerful that it will create any sensorial experiences that justify still its reality, a dual reality. And I'll be clarifying all these things as we move on, because they're really important, so you can see how simple it is to full awakening. I mean, full awakening, no partial awakening. Like I said, it has to be important that we recognize the game, because then if we understand the game, the traps, the proposals, what is real, what is not real, what we are, what we're not, when we have clarity, discernment arises. It gets more purified, and then you see that everything is just a joke. Everything has always been a joke, like a beautiful, fascinating joke. But you gotta understand the simplicity of what really awakening is. So, like I said, it's important also for me to give you everything around the subject of inner exploration. So it's so easy for you to never, how do you say, fall into traps and stay in a place believing anything that is supposed to be that, which means you will always be playing with humbleness, openness, and the inner introspection of recognizing your true self is immediate, simple, and groundbreaking discoveries that will happen because of that. And I'm going to start with a little story that I just remember right now before we enter, that will give you clarity of the simplicity of truth, but also the passion, the willingness to keep on going and follow your heart. At the end of the day, that's all you've got. Follow your heart. But I'll give you a story. And I told this with some of my students that kind of like matches up my feelings since I started the spiritual journey. So there was this guy that since he was little, he was really passionate, intensely about truth, God, the spirituality, since he was really young. So because of that, he, of course, went through religion, little kid religion. He started to learn about everything that surrounds religion, beliefs, gods, goddesses, rules, and things like that, which are good at some point for the behavior and to give some cool breeze into the heart that is still confused about everything and start to learn about everything. So, but as time goes on, this guy starts to become, of course, he's not a kid anymore. He starts to become more, let's say, a man. And he starts to go travel through the world searching for spirituality and ends up with gurus, teachings, techniques, methods, and things like that. Every time he went there, he said the first question he would ask, because he would expect this kind of like reply, is like if he go to a teacher, he would ask, I want you to show me God. I want to find God. I want to find truth. And in every case, there was always the answer, but the actions are the evidence were the opposite of what the truth he was searching for. So let's say he was like, I want to find God, but I want to find it like now. Like I want to see it like now. I want freedom, enlightenment, like right now, because he thought that if, let's say, for example, if you go to a supermarket or you want to go to the movies, you pay, you get a ticket, you enter, that's it. You go to a supermarket, you want to buy a liter of milk, you pay, you get a liter of milk, immediate, I give you, you give me, easy. So he was traveling with teachers and he was really intense with his desire. And so many of the gurus or teachers back in the day, they would say, yeah, you can have God now, but you got to practice this, do that. Then you'll probably find or experience God. And he was like, I want it now. The God that I'm looking for is so loving and compassionate that why would he reserve himself to me fully? Why do I have to do all these things if there's something in my heart that tells me it has to be now? And of course, many of the people that were in those ashrams would say, well, you are wrong. We've been here 20 years. We haven't experienced full experience of God. But if you stay probably 20 years like us, you'll probably experience at some point. He said, no, ciao. He went on looking for another teacher. He went for another teacher. He went to another teacher. He went to another teacher. And the same thing what he was asking, I want to know God now. Why do I have to do these things? Why do I have to do and do and do and do and do? And then the promise that at some point, the promise that it will happen eventually, it doesn't connect with my heart. So he was really intense in his search until one day he was kind of like ready, and he ended up with a really remarkable teacher, like another one that I take my hat off, which is Ramana Maharishi. He's a saint from India, and this guy ended up with him and asked him, okay, you're a teacher. I want to find God now. I want to see him. And God, it doesn't matter the concept. It's just the archetype for the highest truth or experience or feeling or craving. It doesn't matter the word, it can be love or whatever. But this person asked him, I want to see God. I'm done with, he was like done with searching with teachers and fake teachers and gurus that probably know the truth and everything. So he ended up with this teacher. And he only said, you will never find God, because God is the seer and it will never be an object to be seen. And in that moment, something struck so deeply in him that he said, wow, he became the seer. That's why it's really important, the guidance and the clarity, because what we experience, what we're exploring here and what we will explore from now on is the immediate experience of the fullness of the self through you now. That's my only concern, that you get to experience the fullness of the self now, and the rest is just mind illusions, which means you will never find God. That's true. No one has never found God, because you are that. You are not an object to be found. The self has never been an object to be found. So when you practice things that make you believe that you have found something, you can call it silence, peace, love. All those things are objects of perception in front of you. Like I said, the mind is really powerful. It will create whatever. There are still deep desires within that are unresolved. But awakening is recognizing who you truly are, not who you thought you were, or not what you believe or people have taught you that you are. So the moment someone or something says, or there's this feeling that I have found, I'm focusing on something. I found something. I'm playing with something. I'm resting in something. All of those are mind projections, concepts, and imagination that will never lead to full realization, ever. The only way to really awaken is through the self. There's nothing else. There's no meditation, no technique, no concept that can bring you about everything that you are, because you're already everything that you are. There's just a small belief that you are this body-mind individuality. But behind that is the self in all its glory. So the self in all its glory has no limitations whatsoever, none. Otherwise, we're not talking about the real self. The real self, the infinite, has no limitations or lacks nowhere, ever. Nothing. So that brings an interesting question. If that's the truth, it means that the self doesn't need anything to realize itself. In another point of view, it means that the self doesn't need to realize, because it's already, let's say in words, it's already fully realized, because it has no lacks. So if that's truth, because I've always, with my students and everything, I tell them, like I said before, I only care about exploring yourself, who you really are, the witness of it all. For me, that's the most important thing, to know you. Why would I want, or why would I waste time and get to understand things that are in front of you, which the most important thing is you. Otherwise, any other thing is secondary or in third place of whatever you are doing. For example, which makes it really, 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 really easy. Like I said before, awakening, everything is mind. Everything is mind. Everything is duality. Everything is ego, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but we gotta get clear on things, you know? The more clear you get, the simpler it gets. And then you just relax, enjoy, and see everything unfold, and as this cosmic dance of remembering, let's say, you know? But for example, let's say that you have had experiences of peace. Let's say that you have had experiences of thoughts. Let's say that you have had experiences of emotions, sensations, all of those things, okay? In order for those things to actually be experienced, first, you have to exist. First, you have to show up, then you are able to say there are thoughts, feelings, or emotions, or peace. You know, without you, what's the point of talking of something that you are not even aware of, you know? So in many places, they spend a lot of time and energy in exploring everything that is in front of you, everything. Get to know it, get to replicate it. Everything that is in front of you that is recognized by you. So you spend a lot of time and energy getting to know deeply the things that are in front of you. The mind, sensations, feelings, yourself, talents, past tendencies, all of those things, you know? Many people spend a lot of time just get to, just a never-ending game of just keep exploring things in front of you. Creation, the world, etc. But, and this is the question of the heart. Okay, I'm knowing these things, but what about me? Really? Who am I? Really? Because up until this moment, there's something missing. Many people can experience long periods of happiness. That's great. But if they want to go really, really, really deep, being happy is not enough. If they really want to remember, happiness is not enough. Peace is not enough. Even connection with the world is not enough. Because there's still something. There's a piece, if you go to the deepest part of your heart, there's still something missing. That is, it's like, I cannot grasp it. I don't know how to put it into words. I don't know where it is. It's hard to explain, but there's something that is still missing inside of myself. I was one of those people that I used to live in a really happy life, and it wasn't enough. Like, I enjoy it, of course. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. But in terms of spirituality and enlightenment and things like that, it's not enough. Because I still don't know who am I, who I am. I don't know why am I here, what I've been created, what is my purpose really. Because all those answers can only manifest themselves until you know who you are. Then it's tricky, you know, it's tricky. So we have spent a long time trying to understand ourselves, but from the point of view of mind, from the point of view of the world, from the perception and opinions from other people. Basically, we have believed ourselves to be a mental idea of what the world promotes as our identity of who we are. You know, it can be the body, our gender, from our nationality, our beliefs, our desires, our talents. All of this, if we sum them up, integrates myself, me. This is who I am. But if you pay close attention to all of this, you'll see that all of this has been learned. And it can be unlearned. You have many experiences in your life that some ideas, what you thought you were, suddenly something happens that changes your point of view, and probably you become a different person with different values, more sensitive or something. So these ideas of who you are can, if you trace them back, they were learned, and along the way, they can be changed or transformed. But if you go deeper, way back, the moment before the identity was created, who was there before that pseudo or pseudo identity? Who was there? Who was really there? Who's that one? Who's that one if you clean up everything that is blocking or blurring your view? Who's that one really? What is the nature of that one? How would be the experience of embrace and knowing that you are that before any identity formed by thought or mind? How would be that like? Many people, that's why they're searching. they're still going forward. They're still looking for something that can matches up or is aligned a little bit more with that part of yourself that was not tainted by ego, mind, or illusion, or duality, however you want to call it. This is the same thing. That's why many people are looking, searching. But there's another situation coming, which, like I said at the beginning, honestly, you have no idea how much love and respect and honor I have for the people that are here. Because to reach a point, consciously or unconsciously, that there's a part of you that says, enough is enough. I'm done with the searching. I'm done with these things still promoting, promising, and there's still something inside of myself that is still, there's something missing. Like I say, high praise to you, because not many people would manifest a really high level of teaching like this one. Like I said, as Nisargadatta or others. Is a different game. This is a different game, which is easy, super simple, direct, but it brings everything that you are fully to the table. It recognizes you as the infinite potential of everything. It treats you, it sees you, it embraces you and guides you as if you were already the infinite, exploring its full potential of becoming. That's why it's really direct and simple, because it brings you to the highest levels possible. Now, not later. It sees you for what you truly are. It will never see you as someone that is lack on something, that needs something, that needs to purify something, that needs to practice something, that needs to train something. It sees you as something that you're already complete and radiant and beautiful. You already are complete. Anything that says otherwise is a lie. That's why not many people reach this place of this kind of like interactions, because something else is happening. The universe is presenting you with love and clarity who you already are. And at the same time, is shaking the foundations of everything you thought you are, which is different. Who you think you are is different from who you are. You know, as I said before, many people believe they are their thoughts, their mind, their body, their gender. And the trickiest one of all is they think they are consciousness, the observer, the watcher, the chooser. That's the trickiest one to break from. But it's the simplest one, of course, also. Because who you are is more powerful than all the illusion put together. But it's important to recognize then, because the mind will throw concepts, ideas of the potentiality of disappearing. But of course, if you want to remember who you are, the thought identification idea has to disappear completely, fully, for you to see that you are infinite, truly, literally. The rest is just mind games. For me, was like that, kind of like the same story as I said before. I never met Maharishi. I'm not the one in this story. The one that I said that he was looking, searching for teachers and teachers and teachers and teachers. But when I heard that story, I relate myself to that completely, because I was in I was craving, and I was searching and searching and searching until that search was over for good. But that level of intensity and passion and desire brought me to the experiences that I needed to get understanding and clarity, what truly my heart was yearning for. So I'm gonna try to make it simple, but let's bring this idea of everything is the self, everything is one, you know, everything is unified experience. If that's true, probably I'm just missing something. That's it. If that's true, that is only the self, the immortal self playing with itself, and that is not my experience, probably I'm only misunderstanding something. That's it. Nothing more. There's just a misunderstanding. Because then, if that's true, because that's always been my feeling before, why, if it's everything is true love and everything, why my experience is not reflecting that? My experience is the opposite. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta purify this, I gotta purify that, I gotta train my mind, I gotta train my attention. It's like I gotta do all these things that if I go to the core of my being, there is kind of like a incongruency with life and my inner feelings. So I had to follow the incongruency and try to follow my feelings, my heart, my inner search, because like I said at the beginning, at the end of the day, that's what we all got. Our heart, our hunch or hutch, I don't know how you say it in English, hunch. At the end of the day, that's what we all have. And there's so many things out there that if we are honest, it's like, not really. Not really. And some other things, of course, might say yes. So you have this inner mechanism of intuition that is trying to point you to the direction of your inner exploration. For me, it was like that in this journey of self-discovery, or whatever you want to call it. Like I said before, many don't know me, but I have really stressful experiences in my life, none of which I don't wish to no one. And even though I found peace, it wasn't enough. Even with the most crazy life adventure, I found peace and I found happiness. It wasn't enough, because I haven't found myself really, and the purpose of being, and none of those deeper questions that were still not resolved within my heart. For me, a life without meaning or depth wasn't worth living. So I always crave for the deepest I can experience life in different areas. But for me, it was these questions that drove me to keep on going, Now, of course, my role is to help people answer that question now and in the most simple ways. So everything that I experience, or everything that I've gone through, can help people see that it's so simple that we just complicate things. So, like in the story before, like I said, we explore the fullness and the clarity from where you're looking from. My only interest is to discover and present you with clarity, tools, or ways that the most important thing to exploring now is you. I don't care about the things in front of you. I care everything I do is for you. Then, if you know who you are, you'll know everything in a microsecond. That's how simple it is. You know yourself, you know everything else. It's amazing. But and I understand my journey. I understand fully why I went through the experiences that I had to go through. And they are part of the journey, they're part of the journey. But I understand that everything that we have experienced up till this moment has brought you to this moment. And sometimes it can see as finally you will get to honor, take the right steps, finally value something that is really hard to find, because it's really hard to find. You can find it in books, but it's really hard to find living beings. It's really hard. They are there, but they're not hard because they're not there. It's hard because people don't want this. They want objects of perception and sensations. They want their desires to be fulfilled. They want their needs to be fulfilled. They want the freedom that comes from having a lot of money and the capacity to travel. They want these things, you know. Many people, everything they put into the table, their energy, their desires, their intentions, are related to the world, to the outside world, to the things, which many of us can experience. That you can explore happiness that the outside brings you, but there's a moment that it goes away. It's not permanent. You know, there's a moment that you can experience happiness, connection, love, and everything, but then it goes away again. It's not permanent. No experience is permanent. But you might think that by practice, you can make it permanent. Yeah, for a while, and then it goes back to the same. Because permanency requires time and space and the capacity to be aware of these things. All these little flavors are required for you to have the cognitive experience that you are experiencing these things and you are integrating the flavor of these things. Peace, happiness, love, whatever you want to call it. But because you're playing in the game of time, the desire to replicate this experience, inner experience even, for a while, to become permanent, the mind will throw this as a solution for something that is craving a little bit deeper. But as many as, probably you're already aware of this, that how come that can experience peace or silence or peace of mind, let's say, for a while, but at some point, everything goes back again. Probably not with the same intensity, of course, because you are in a different position, different level of sensitivity and consciousness, but still, something comes back. The duality, the fear, the stress, the suffering really never went away. Probably we just hide it. We put it under the carpet, let's say, but really never went away. So we are trained, or we train ourselves to practice, to be here, to be now, or whatever games, so we can actually meet our desire. But that desire, because it's being replicated and formed by the mind and the senses and the qualities of time and space, because those things, their nature is to appear and disappear, everything that is created from that level of exploring has the same end. It will disappear. So like I said, this is beautiful as it can be. It's a beautiful game of exploring. But there's a moment, like I said at the beginning, there's a moment that you said, enough is enough. I'm tired of this trying. I'm getting exhausted. It's like I'm tired of just keep on trying. There's a moment that you said, all these energy waste of why? Because it's not like I'm getting something. I'm not denying that. But if I go deeper, I'm not getting what I'm here for, really. And every journey, every proposition that involves time is suffering, is pure suffering in the deepest levels. And like I said, this can bring change and transformation in your life, of course, this kind of approaches. And that can give you a level of intimacy with love and peace that is beautiful to experience. But sometimes the downside is that at some point you experience the opposite, and it's not really pleasant. And then you try harder. Then there's something wrong with me. Probably I didn't practice enough. I didn't do this enough, or something that is wrong that I have to change, or something, for then I can stay longer in this experience of exquisite love, let's say. But again, you go back to the same, where that cannot continue forever. Those feelings, those sensations cannot go on forever. Because like I said, exploring the objects of perception leads to suffering and conflict. So my only interest is not exploring the objects of perception. For me, is the perceiver. If you put all your energy, intentions, desires, let's say everything, instead of to the outside, but to the really inside, to the deepest insight you can go, then it's marvelous. It's heavenly. Then we're talking about true spirituality. Because true spirituality will shake in the pillars of duality, or confusion and illusion. It will challenge those little parts that are blind spots in your experience, that are making you believe that you are not already that which is already free, which is already everything, which is already complete, which is already beautiful, already. And like I said, if you're already that, and you're beautiful and radiant and complete and divine and infinite, if you're already that, then the rest is a joke. Really, it's a joke. But how do you see the joke? How do you see the game of the confusion of the mind and the illusion of that you are this limited individual? How do you see clearly that the one seen through your eyes is the infinite, and the infinite has no lack or limitations at all? For me, it's going to the root of the illusion. For me, it's going to the where everything starts. Like I said, why waste time in everything that is in front of you that doesn't make the illusion crumble? Because it doesn't. It won't. The illusion is not in what you perceive. The illusion is in the perceiver. Duality starts in the idea of you, the sense of you. If that dissolves, everything dissolves, and the reality of the self blossoms forward like a tornado, wiping out everything that is not the self in a microsecond. Everything is wiped out. The moment that you recognize your true self, not the thought or the idea of who you think you are, everything is wiped out in a microsecond. Burned to the ashes. Everything, completely. Nothing is left at all. And then you get to see that everything, finally, the result is everything is the self, infinite, glorious, perfect. And you are that. You've always been that. The mind is tricky. Might say, yeah, but I don't experience it. I don't feel it. It's not clear. I haven't done practice enough. I need to eat more vegetarian food. You know, this is all this is assumptions, because the mind says, well, I don't get it. This is my list of how am I gonna get it, because I know, I've read it, I've heard it. Even I experienced, like I said at the beginning, it's tricky in the spiritual experiences, because the mind says, well, I've experienced last year a moment of peace, and this is what I did. So this is what I have to do in order to reach that peaceful state. And then we enter in this labyrinth of mind games that are really tricky and hard to break from, because the mind knows. I read this, heard this, and all of this have to be qualified or checked in order for me to then and at some point experience what I've read or heard. In an unconscious level, all these things are traps at the end of the day, like I said, because the mind thinks it knows. It wants to replicate. And like I said, the mind is powerful, that if you feed it and you listen to it, let's say in a month, you'll experience what the mind already checked on the list. And it's like, aha, but then how I make it permanent? I've experienced, I feel it, but then it goes away. What happened? You know, the mind is creating all this illusion and these sensorial experiences for you to enjoy. But of course, in the realm of the mind, any joy brings to suffering and duality, because it's not permanent. And because a part of us think that this is what we are looking for, the peace and the love. But if you go deeper, you are looking for something else. You're searching for something else. Because like I said, there's one piece missing. In all this, how to say this game, maze of the game of life, there's only one piece missing that for the more you try, the more you're looking for and everything, there's something that is missing, and it's you. Your true you. That's the only thing that is missing. Many people have all their pieces already in place. The family piece, the connection piece, the peace piece, the love piece, the money piece, the retirement piece, the health piece. That's great. But there's still one piece missing. You? Who you are really? Really? The moment you know who you are, you laugh at yourself of everything else. It's just funny. If you thought that you had experienced peace before, there's no comparison, like not even in a million years. The most beautiful, peaceful experience that you have ever had, even the most loving experience you have ever had, compared to recognizing truth as a living reality, there's no comparison. It's like, really, I thought that was peace? Unbelievable. How lost I was. But in a funny way. It's not like a resentment, painful way. Of course not. It's just like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, I never thought the game was so big and so profound that my mind and senses and imagination can never grasp it. It's like unbelievable, amazing, and immediate and simple and easy. So like I said before, duality, delusion, ego, desire, they create a really powerful self-violent drama where the thoughts can actually blur and make one so blind of beauty, of love, of everything. The mind is really, really powerful. The illusion of things, the illusion of me, you, here and there is really powerful. but not as powerful as the self. I know that the senses and the mind and the concepts and all of those things can feel overwhelming sometimes. But believe me, they're not as powerful as you are. There's no way. Just because you are misunderstanding something, because that's it, a misunderstanding. But that misunderstanding, because it has the full power of the infinite within it, that misunderstanding can create huge confusion. That's why the game is so powerful in itself. If we go to the concept, just the idea that everything is one and everything is the infinite, it means every single little microscopic thing is infused with the full power of the infinite. The true infinite, the true one, doesn't have any conditions, which means the next thing. Because I remember when I used to be in my spiritual journey, let's say, it's like, okay, I have to train myself because, of course, I was born with deficiencies. Because if God created me in perfection, he would have given me the power of concentration, self-attention, and no distraction. So there's something that doesn't, if it's all loving and all perfection and everything, why I was born with so many lacks? And the most important ones, according to spirituality, I need to be trained to be here, but my attention goes everywhere. So for the most important thing in life, I was given no tools. So is that like, what's going on? What's going on? If everything is the infinite and all powerful and wise and is in everything, because that's the potentiality of the concept of unity, then, man, there's a lot of wrong with me. Not a little, a lot of wrong. And that was the experience I had before. Just everything was wrong, painful, suffering. But here is different. I want you to get so clear that the true self and the infinite and the God that we're exploring here is that the one, that one is giving itself fully to everyone, fully. No lacks in no area. Complete. The full power of the infinite, full. Not with doses, not with levels, not if you do good things, I'll give you more. If you do bad things, I give you less, because that's what people believe that to be true. Only because there's a little bit of confusion. That's not the true self. That's just the imagination of the mind thinking itself to be the self. You know, and that's the tricky one. So for me, and sometimes people don't believe this, which is fine. I respect everyone where they think they are, because like I said, it's very different where you think you are and when you truly are, where you truly are. People believe they are in the mind, they are in the illusion, they are confused, they gotta do this, they gotta do that, but truly you are not there. You are behind that curtain watching a game being unfolded in front of you. And it's a really powerful game. But you are the watcher, the witness of the game. You're not in the game at all. You're not in the game. You're outside of the game. My role is to give you so much clarity that you see the last little subtle things that you are not able to see by yourself as something that has always been in front of you. Not as you, as something in front of you, which is a small but the biggest difference of all. Like I said, your mind would say, I don't know, I'm confused. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I learned this. I gotta practice this. Like I have to, because you think you are somewhere and you are reaching, or you gotta be somewhere else. You have all this agenda of things that you gotta do. For me, it's different. For me, it's giving you the clarity that all of that is just an illusion. It's not reality. It's not truth. You are somewhere else. Your true self is in a different place than what the mind thinks it is. Because one thing is the mind, one thing is the individual, one thing is the personhood, the persona, you know, all this, that's one thing. This persona, this individual experiences a lot of things. First, it locates itself in time and space through the body. Then it has a mind. It has a past, concepts, talents, family. I'm in certain city. I have an age, a gender. Like all these things implicate that there's an I right there, located, of course, in time and space. And this I, or me, you can follow it through time and you can find it. Yeah, last year I experiencing this. I was experiencing this. So because of this replica of time past that has passed, it, let's say, if is experiencing the present with the qualities of the past and is trying to replicate the same to the future. It's time. Time is past, present, and future. That's what it means. And time only exists also in time, space, continuum. So this I, this person, this individuality, everything relates to it. I have thoughts, I have emotions, I have feelings. I experience peace. I experience love. I'm experiencing clarity. I'm expanding. Or the opposite, I feel anger. I feel resentment. I feel resistance. I feel, I don't know, desperation, anxiety, whatever. It's the same I. There's someone there experiencing these things. Whatever qualities you want to call, let's say positive or negative, it doesn't matter, just for the clarity of the example of this. So there's always this one. Okay. Have you ever challenged this one? Who's this I that is always talking, referring, and filtering everything? Who's this I? Because I always refer to me as I. I am experiencing emotions. I am experiencing thoughts. I am this, I am that. I was, I am, I will be. I wasn't, I will be. I haven't, I will be. You know, there's always someone right there that is referring and filtering everything. You know? And we believe we are this I that is composed by thoughts, emotions, body, the identification with the body, with time and space, living, experiencing, and everything. But who's this I? How can you define this I? What concepts, ideas, labels, stories, this I is composed or grabbing, justifying as this pseudo individual reality with its experiences and tendencies and habits. That's what really the illusion starts. Because this I, there was a period of time that it wasn't there. It wasn't there. Everything was built up and created upon this I. You know, this I started the notion of I exist. Let's say I exist. I know I exist. I know I am. Which has the quality of consciousness. But like I said, you are not that even. But that's where it starts. Not the confusion, the seed, the prisma from where you are looking things from, the prisma, the lens from where you're looking things is this eye. And of course, the light goes through the lens of the eye. Your light goes through the lens, through the prisma, and then is fragmented into multiplicity. That's why dualities still exist. Because this prisma, this lens, this little thing that is so small can create the illusion of the infinite in everywhere, because it's the same light going through a prisma called I, ego, mind, which is the same thing. Mind, ego, illusion, and I is the same thing, no different. Because then the question is the next one. There's moments in your daily life, beautiful moments, that this I is not there. It might be hidden, it's fine. But when it's hidden and when it's not there, do you stop being? Do you not exist? What about those moments that you're not aware that you don't exist? Those moments that you fall completely unconscious. Does that mean that you don't exist? If that were true, you will die immediately. No, that's a funny thing. You always exist. Always. But the question is then, because it's true, there's something in you that profoundly, with authority, and with strength and boldness, says, I exist. You cannot deny your existence. You might be confused, let's say, that you don't know who you are, you don't know about the depth of things, that's fine. There might be confusion about thoughts, emotions, sensation, that's fine. But there's only one thing that cannot be denied by you, which is your existence. You cannot say, I don't exist. It's impossible. Because if you say it, still, who's the one that says I don't exist? There's still someone that exists that can deny itself. See, you can't deny yourself. The question is, that self that cannot be denied by itself, who's that one? That has so much power and presence that it cannot deny itself to be. Well, that, my friends, is the self in all its glory. Free. Completely free. The problem is that we have defined ourselves by the objects of perception in front of us. How? I am this, I am that. I'm saying the opposite. You are neither this, you are neither that. Because how can you be something that is in front of you? Even in the most abstract experiences, there's still something witnessing. Let's say, for example, that you are in your house. We're gonna take it the journey within. So let's say that you're in your house right now, or wherever you are. You watch the ceiling. Well, if you're watching the ceiling, you are not that, because there's a watcher watching the ceiling. So you are not that. Let's say that the window is open and there's the sky and the trees. Well, I'm not that, but I'm also not that, because I can see that I'm here, and I can see the trees, and I can see the birds. So I cannot be neither this, neither that. Let's go deeper. You see your body. How can you be your body? You might have a body, but you're not the body, because you are the witness of the body. Okay, deeper. You see a thought. How can you be a thought if you are the witness of the thought? If you see an emotion, how can you be an emotion if you are the witness of the emotion? Impossible. Let's say that you start to see something that you weren't aware before, which is concepts or deeper or another layer of unconscious thoughts or belief systems. Oh, wow. Look, I'm not this deep level of beliefs or concepts that I used to hold before because I'm still witnessing them. And sort of as in a beautiful way, this is creating separation between the watcher and the things watched. You know, it's like, okay, but what about sensations? I feel peace, I feel love. Well, you cannot be neither peace or love because you are still witnessing them. And we're entering into the real realm of confusion where people are like this, hooked like fish. Because this is the tricky one, okay? You go deeper. And when you start to go deeper, there's a sense of clarity, a different clarity starts to reveal itself because you are witnessing and recognizing a different level of the inner witnessing that you weren't so clear before. Like I said, you start to see thoughts as thoughts, emotions as emotions, and there's a development of discernment that is cooking itself for you. Then you have the discernment that this concept is not mine. I learned it somewhere else. It's not me. You know, this pattern of habit is not me, is my dad. Oh, I can't believe I used to be my dad without knowing that I was pretending to be my dad. So it's like you start to see these things that you learn from your mother, society, and friends that were referring as you. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with them. Nothing that I've been talking today, there's nothing wrong with them. The problem is that everything can't really show the fullness of you. That only shows you an insignificant little part of everything that you are. So my focus or my only intention is to discover your fullness, not your little parts, you know. That's in a different conversation. So you start to go deeper and you just by discernment, understanding, and clarity, notice that these things in front of you are not you. The fullness of you, the totality of you. That's what I'm saying. That's a big difference. Okay? So suddenly you start to see ego mind tendencies as something that is not you. It's like, whoa, I thought I was this little person in my head, let's say, but I'm not that. Wow. And in this subtlety of ego transcending the ego, let's say, something clearer blossoms. And different qualities of experience start to emerge. One is a deeper sense of peace, okay? But again, there's one there watching the sense of peace. And let's go deeper. Who's the one that is watching the deeper? How can you recognize a notion or a quality of experience in front of you and then you name it? You call it deeper, it's fine. But wait a minute. If I'm watching, noticing a quality of deeper, it means that I'm not that because they're still witnessing. There's still something here ever present because even the quality of deeper comes and goes. You might have a quality of deeper right now or not tomorrow, but you're still there. You know, suddenly this starts to purify itself even more. You start to recognize the lens from where you're looking things from. It starts to get cleaner and clearer and cleaner and gets purified, let's say. Suddenly, everything gets quiet, peace of mind. The anxiety, the thoughts, the fight, everything, let's say, is not there. Absence of things. All right. But who's that one watching the absence of things? There's still something there. Like I said before, you are not this, you are not that. If you keep on going, recognizing everything in front of you, there's a point when you reach, let's say, like a veil of vibration. All right? And this is where it starts to get interesting. This veil of vibration is composed with a few things. One is the consciousness that you exist and that you can recognize yourself as the one watching. So it has the quality of consciousness because you are aware that you're watching. You are the conscious observer of the things happening. Correct? You follow me? In this conscious observer, if I ask you, or if we dive into it, that's the false I vibrating intensely in its reality. Because the true self doesn't need to be conscious of itself. Are you implying that there's moments when he's not, or it's not conscious of itself? That's a lack. So we're not talking about the true infinite still. We're still talking about something that is being perceived by the infinite, which is this conscious noticing, witnessing, self-recognition that I am. Okay? And this is where the game starts, really the true game. Behind this, I am this, I am. This quality of existing, noticing, watching, I am here. Well, behind that is your true self. The doorway to the infinity is your own self. You have always been the door to everything. The rest is just mind games, confusion, and illusion. The real entrance to everything, to the literal experience of unboundedness, is the presence and the recognition and the self-validation that you are. But that one that is doesn't need to say I am. It just is. That's the true watcher. That witness, let's say, is watching extreme, powerful phenomena created by consciousness. Okay? The self, the absolute, the supreme, is just witnessing the game created by consciousness. Many people are lost in the game of consciousness and they don't transcend it. So the game of consciousness is a really powerful one, but that's why their concept as supreme consciousness. So we have to differentiate the game of consciousness to the real, the supreme. Otherwise, you get lost in the sensorial game of the senses and the mind. And when you recognize that you're not this, you're not that, there's a moment that you cannot go any further. You can't. There's a moment that it stops. And there, what's the alternative then? If watching, witnessing, seeing finishes, the result is being the watcher, experience yourself to be that which witness everything. Just to put it into perspective, into ways of exploring pointers to the one that is really listening to me now. That it has always been is the infinite itself, the self itself. Free, complete. You don't need anything to become. Become is for the ego. Reaching is for the ego, for the mind. Levels is for the mind. Only the ego perceives things because it exists. If individuality exists, if I exist, then you exist. Well, like I said, in this subtle energetic field of me, I am, I exist, and from there I experience peace, because then this mine is defining itself, is justifying its reality of its existence by grabbing into objects. If you remove this I, nothing exists at all. Nothing has the chance to exist. What is left is an unbounded ocean of nothingness, no notions, no qualities, nothing at all. Supreme emptiness, forever, infinite, and you are that. No separation, no duality, nothing at all. All of that was just the confusion from the mind and the senses. That's it. But where all of this starts? In the I. Who's this I? Who's this I that is located in time and space and that conceptualizes everything, puts names into things? It's that simple. You're already free. You're already complete. You need not to do anything for it. Doing implies time. Doing implies not enough right now, tomorrow will be better. Time. Concepts, ideas, postponing. If you don't listen to time, if you don't listen to desires, notions, you'll become empty. You'll be quiet. Pay attention to these moments, those moments when you are quiet, when your mind cannot grasp what I'm saying, and something collapses. There's a different quality of nothingness, emptiness, something different. It's like you cannot really put into words anything. It's like you cannot really say anything. It's like you have become quiet in all levels, because the infinite has no qualities. You cannot really say anything about the infinite. No one can say anything about the infinite. What we're playing today, or what we explore, is just pointers, directions, something that cannot be named. Something that no words, concepts can actually say what it is. Nothing can say what it is, because it has never been an object. It has never been a thing. It has never been a thing. Like I said at the beginning, you will never find yourself. You will never find God. You will never find enlightenment. It's not something to be found. It's you. Has always been you. It's always been you. So when you're looking for something, funny enough, you're looking for that which you are looking from. Stop the search. Stop the looking. Stop completely the desires, the craving, stop it, stop it, stop it, don't follow it. And you end up in just you. It has always been you. The moment the mind says something that you probably need, just laugh, because you're already that which the mind is trying to propose that you need. It's funny, but it's true. It's true. You are already enlightened. You are already radiant. You're already complete. If you start the game, your journey, or however you want to call it, your inner exploration, from the fact, let's say, that you are, how to say that how to say that in English? The goal of a race is to reach the goal. I don't know how you call it. You know, you're gonna race, and you're gonna reach the little flag that says, "Hey, you've reached, you won," or whatever. If you start your day that you have already reached that you're already there, that you already are, that really there's nothing to do, that you have reached the promised land, that you are in the promised land, or that you are the promised land, then everything becomes clear. And then you laugh. How come I've spent all this time just confused? Your true nature is already free, complete, abundant, and unbounded. No matter the mind might say, do this, do that, don't listen. I don't feel it, don't listen. Reject completely all this nonsense that the mind and the illusionists are trying to, because that's the game. Illusion is trying to confuse you. Don't get confused, and that's it. The mind might say, well, I don't feel it. Well, it's true. You can say, yeah, you mind don't feel it, but I can know that I am. I can feel the presence of my being. Like I said at the beginning, you cannot deny your own existence. You can't. You can't. Be quiet. Stay empty. Don't follow any thought pattern. Don't follow any assumptions. Be quiet. Stay empty. And the self will reveal itself to itself. Full awakening really only happens by the self, not by nothing else. It's easier in English, but it's true. That's why it's called self-realization. It's because the self realizes itself by the self, from the self. And anything else will never end up in full awakening. Ever. Which is easy. Then, like I said at the beginning, if you get clarity, the discernment increases. Then, all these little places that we have wasted our time, they had their purpose. It's fine. They were part of our game, our journey of discovery and everything. That's fine. But then the game gets clearer. Then where will you put your energies, your intentions? The answer is the self. Has always been the self, yourself, the sense of self. It's like jumping to the sense of your own self, jump, dive, that's it. That's true infinite. The rest is not really infinite as people think. There's nothing deeper than you. Nothing at all. I know that people might say, well, space is deeper. Not really. There's going to be a point that you'll see that not even space is deeper than your own self. Nothing is deeper and more powerful and profound than your true being. Nothing at all. It's so easy to show you this truth. How? I'll give you an example, which sometimes people don't really reflect into this or dive into this. Every day, you go to sleep. And when you go to the deepest and most profound sleep state, everything disappears. Everything is gone. Senses, mind, body, the world, the universe, time, space, everything disappears. There's no notions of anything. Consciousness, gone for good too. Everything is gone. Well, the question is, if everything is gone, why am I not gone? I'm still there. There's still someone there experiencing supreme nothingness. Who's that one? That's why so many of us, let's say, enjoy so much sleeping. Because it gives you so much freedom from everything. Basically that, it just gives you the purity of experience of being free from everything. In that moment, there's no levels, here, there, now, there, up, down, living, dying, thoughts, nothing at all. Well, like that, you bring that experience everywhere now. That's the game. When you really rest in this moment fully, completely, without time, without space, without you, without me, it's kind of like the same experience as in deep sleep. Everything disappears completely, gone. And what's left is pure existing, sacred, divine, beautiful, without parts, without divisions, without notions, without concepts, without ideas, nothing at all. That is the truth. Nothing at all, nothing at all. And that is you always. There's no you and this. There's no you and the self. You and peace, you and love, you and there, you and them. That doesn't exist at all. Only exists if the mind exists. The highest truth, the highest reality, and is literal. There's only the self. And nothing else exists. Literally. Nothing else exists by the self. Only the self exists. But that's funny because many places use the mind. Well, then we're talking about two things. Self and a mind. Well, there's not the highest reality then. Well, me, the mind, and the senses. Well, we're not talking, not even one thing now, two things. Now we're talking about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things. Then now we're talking about peace in the world. Jesus, now we're talking about many, 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 many things. Now we're not just talking about things. Now we're talking about billions of things, plus nature and everything. So we're in the realm of multiplicity, confusion, chaos, creation, destruction. And that game is the illusion of the mind. The question is, who's the witness of the mind? Who's the witness of the illusion? Who's the witness of this whole game called creation? Because there's still a witness. And the witness is more powerful than all creation put together. Like I said, so easy to put it. You go to sleep. How important is your true self that you go to sleep and all creation not even exists? All of it, in a microsecond, has gone for good. People might say, well, it's still there while you're sleeping. Well, what do I care? I'm not there. And that's the paradigm of some scientists. If there's not a witness, what is the purpose of creation? No, it doesn't exist at all. In a microsecond, everything is created in front of you because of the power of consciousness. That's how powerful you are. In less than a microsecond, everything is created in front of you. It justifies the game, by the game, for the game in a microsecond. In 1 second, everything, all this illusion that 1912, 1918, 1810, the beginning of the Big Bang, all of that justifies the game right now. It's happening right now simultaneously for you. It's fascinating, the power of your consciousness. In 1 second, draws this cosmic movie for you to remember that you have always been outside the movie. Imagine, let's say that we're going to the movie theaters and we're gonna see, let's say, a movie that everybody knows, just for the sake of the fun of it. Let's say Harry Potter. Everybody has heard of Harry Potter. Or The Lord of the Rings, or whichever movie you like. If you, let's say, before you go to the movies, directors, painters, actors, they all put together this movie called Harry Potter. They practice their lines. You go to the movie theater and then you see the sky, the colors, the castles, everything inside the movie justifies the story of the movie. You know, everything that is happening inside the movie justifies the dialogue, the drama, the narrative of the movie. When you watch it all or read all the books on everything you see that was connected, justifying itself for the drama of the game. Okay? That's how powerful consciousness is. Everything that you read right now, backwards and forwards, justify its game. That's how powerful it is. But the question is not the movie, the dialogue in the movie, the actors in the movie, the landscape in the movie, not the choreography, the trees, the people, the cars, you know, it's like that justify the scene of the movie. The question is, who's watching the movie? That's the real question. The movie is really powerful. It has some events that I'm going to clarify them. One of them, a really powerful event in a movie for spiritual people, spiritual seekers, is I left. I'm not conscious. For example, I'm not here. I fog out. Do you follow me? I went on thoughts. I remembered to come back and to be here and now. Do you follow me? All of that is inside the movie. You are the watcher of all those powerful phenomena. That has nothing to do with you. You have never left. You will never be able to leave. You have never been unconscious. You have never been conscious. All of that applies to the me, to the I, to the ego. Like I said, is wrapped up with the power of consciousness. But you are not that. You are still the witness of that powerful phenomenon. So the moment that the mind says, I'm coming back here, well, you can come back here. I've always been here. I'll wait for you when you come back. Because I'm here. You have always been here. You have never been lost. That doesn't apply to you. You're true you. You have never been asleep. That doesn't apply to your true self. That only applies to the me, to the I. But that's how the discernment grows. If you apply it, then you start laughing. You stop reacting. You just flow. You do nothing. There's nothing to do. Like I said at the beginning, you're already complete. What else is there to do? You're already the self. If that's the premise, all the rest, you just laugh. There's nothing more powerful than this. Like I said at the beginning, you can spend 20 years meditating, it won't result in recognition of who you are. It won't. Or we gotta clarify what kind of meditation are we talking about. True meditation is different from sensorial experiencing. True meditation is rest in who you are. Stop defining yourself to be this or that. Get deeper in your sense of self. Be the watcher. Be firm in just witnessing. And don't fall into the traps of whatever you are witnessing. The witness is more important than everything else. Then, by grace, by love, by the purity of being, your unboundedness reveals itself by itself for you. The rest is just mind games that just perpetuate the mind game. Awakening means destruction of the mind, destruction of the I, complete dissolution of that. Like I said before, is different from hiding the mind, hiding the thoughts, controlling the mind, perpetuating this sense of stillness or peace for a long time. That still is not the destruction of mind. If you want to really be at peace and love and the deepest connection you can live from, stop identifying with the sense of I. That's where it all begins. And that's where it all ends. Because it's so easy. If this I, which is referring to everything and is filtering everything, if you don't listen to it, don't pay attention to it, don't recognize it, don't acknowledge it, and just stay quiet and empty and watchful, nothing else has the opportunity to rise. Because everything rises with that I. If that I collapses, nothing has the opportunity to rise. Nothing at all. And then you'll find a deeper peace and love and meaning. Like I said at the example of when you go to sleep, it's the same, kind of like the same. That when you go to sleep can show you a little bit more than the other states, your true nature. Your true nature is infinite emptiness. Infinite emptiness which doesn't allow anything to enter. Otherwise, is not emptiness anymore. Emptiness doesn't allow anything to enter. So the moment you see I, me, there, here, tomorrow, becoming, reaching, growing, all of those are things, notions, assumptions, qualities, ideas, concepts. Then you see the little traps. Don't listen to them. You become quiet again, attentive. You don't follow the thought thread that justify its reality. Just keep watching, keep being watchful. Just in words, feeling your own presence, discovering your own presence, integrating or unifying yourself with your sense of self. Treating your sense of self as if it were everything that you're looking for. What if you explore your own self to be everything that you've been looking for? And stop this madness of search and trying to becoming and purifying and practicing and training. Jesus Christ. It's so simple. It's really that simple. And then there's going to be a moment that is so clear that yourself, your own sense of self, is the self. And that's enlightenment. That's awakening. And the self is forever free and unbounded. Like, that's literal. Yeah, Gemma. Hello.
Hi.
So good to see you.
Hi, good to see you. Thank you. So before people would have the question like, what's the point of being here? But my question is like the reverse, like from the perspective of being the supreme or the divine or the unboundless or the free, where there's nothing lacking. What's the point of all of us coming into individual less than? What's the point of the illusion if you're already the supreme in everything? Like, what's the point of all of us?
Well, first, there's neither us, ni you, ni individuals. That's important to know.
Yeah, exactly. But what's the point? Like, what's the reason for the illusion if the supreme are you, we?
Yeah, I know, because you're trying to answer from the point of individuality. You're asking from the point of individuality. Like, I'm here, there are people over there, and the supreme is somewhere there.
And I'm trying to ask from the point of the supreme.
The supreme doesn't have points of view. The
I'm
supreme is everything.
like, what's the point of?
Like I said, the question comes from the individuality. From the point of the supreme, there's no questions. I'll give you an example that clarifies this question. That's the best I can do. Two ways of examples that will clarify the sense that things have been created, which truly nothing has been created. Because otherwise you're implying there's a creator and then something in front of it as a manifestation of his creation. So we're talking about three things now. Who created the creator of its creation, and things created from the creator, which that's not reality. That's still illusion. But I'll give you an example. Have you ever met, I don't know if you're an artist, but have you ever met an artist, let's say, that works with wood or with marble? Okay. The artist that works with wood or with stone or with marble, or however you want to call it, when it sees the marble or the wood, inside itself, there's the potentiality of what can become. It's just the potentiality, because the wood, a piece of wood can be a chair, a glass, a door, a little puppet. It's the potentiality of that, of what can become, not manifested inside the artist. Follow me? Everything that you witness is the potentiality of nothing has ever been created.
Can you say that one again?
Everything that you witness is the potentiality of something that has never been created. Everything that you witness is still inside the potentiality of the true artist, the self. Has never come into being. Another example of seeing this. Imagine a little baby or a baby that is just playing with himself in his room. And he's playing, let's say, with this. In its imagination, these can be planets, pirates, sirens, unicorns. Everything is within itself in its own exploration. It's not really outside of itself. It's just within itself. And from the perspective of the absolute, there's no parts. Another example, a third one, which I always try to bring these examples that gives you clarity of the mysteriousness of everything. Only if you imagine an ocean a really powerful ocean. Only one wave can see waves. Only a wave can see waves. From the perspective of the wave, it imagines that the ocean might not exist, really. That's the experience of people. Like I experience myself, but I don't really experience the whole ocean. I feel myself part of the ocean, but I don't experience myself as the ocean because that's impossible. Of course, it's impossible from the perspective of the wave. And a wave has form, name, notion, distance, comparison. I'm a small wave comparing to that, and that. Big waves, small waves, smaller waves. That's the perspective of the wave. So from the wave, it's almost impossible to even be open to the possibility that there's only ocean. So it has to compare itself from its knowledge, from individuality. I'm a small wave. One day I'll hope to be a really big wave, a really conscious wave. I mean, one of the highest conscious waves ever. Awesome. It can happen. It can happen. So, but it's tricky because still there's something missing because there's still me in relation to everything else. Okay? From the perspective of the absolute, waves doesn't exist at all. Nothing. What happens is just the supreme power of the self expressing itself by itself, being the self. So the ocean doesn't see waves. It's just the nature of the ocean to be all powerful. But that's the tricky one. How do you stop identifying yourself with the wave, with individuality and its perception, ideas, concepts, and justifications? Challenge the I. The I that says, I am here, you are there. Us, what is the purpose? For the ocean, it has no purpose. Only, like I said, the little kid having fun with itself. No purpose, just fun, just games. Or like the artist, it just recognizes the potentiality in a stone, but nothing comes manifested. That's the creative part, the creative infinite aspect of the self. And that's what you're seeing. Everything that you're experiencing is just the potentiality of everything. It doesn't mean it has been created. No separation, really. That's true, no separation. That is true unity. When the self experiences itself as everything and nothing other than that. But it's tricky to try to come to the senses of this from always trying to view things from the perspective of the wave. It's impossible. It's impossible to understand things from the perspective of the wave. It just gets confusing, chaotic. The easiest way is challenge the I. Be empty, be open. Let the I be the self in front of you. And there's still you. And that you is the ocean itself. Being itself, watching itself, experiencing itself fully with no separation.
Can I clarify something?
Yeah, of course.
Like going back to like the wood metaphor that you gave us. So none of it's really manifested, none of it's actualized, but let's say from the perspective of the supreme, Lillian is the block of wood that became a sculpture, and I'm the block of wood that became a desk, and Gavin's the block of wood that became a cup, and it's all an illusion still, but we're just each acting out a potentiality, and that's is the illusion of separateness or difference. But none of it's actually real, like it's all just the illusion. Okay. And again, this is still a concept. I get my mind is still trying to like put it in a box or make from it, but okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's more important not to, like I said, there's a moment when you treat everything as not the full reality or the highest reality. Like I said, it has some degree of reality. You know, everything that you have experienced has some degree of experience of factualness or actualness. I don't remember the word, but you know what I mean. Like it has some reality, but doesn't mean it is the highest reality. You know, I give you another example. If we go to the desert and you're really thirsty, and suddenly your mind, in all its power, creates the illusion of a lake or a pond, let's say, in that moment, it becomes reality for you. You know, you can say water exists, and I can tell you, yes, for you in this moment, water exists, but that doesn't mean there's not a higher truth, regardless this example. I would say, don't drink that water. Wait a moment. Just keep walking 2 degrees to the right, walk with me, because I can see that the sun will change the view of the landscape, and suddenly the water will disappear from a different angle of view. That's all that is required, a different angle of seeing things. Like I would say, don't drink the water. You say, yeah, but I'm really thirsty. Well, drink it and then you go to the hospital, because you're not meant to drink sand, no matter how tasteful it might look, you know? Like I said, it's tricky, but that's why understanding and clarity and the right approach are really important to start to recognize something that is within, that is already clear. The confusion is that the power of consciousness, like I said before, is so powerful that creates the illusion that water exists. Me, you, here, there, the absolute. Like I said, I'm just referring and pointing out to something really deep inside of you. I'm not making absolutes in here about the approach of exploring. There's only one absolute, and that absolute is not an object of perception. It's not what you perceive of things to be. It's the perceiver, because that's the only thing that is always permanent. Like I give you in the example of when you go to sleep. Every day, all the time, in the 3 states, let's say, sleeping, dreaming, and this state, let's say, there's still someone there. Regardless of the experiences, there's always someone there experiencing all of these states. Well, that self is stateless. It's beyond the states. But the people are accustomed to the most important thing is what is in front of me. Clarify what is in front of me. Come to senses what is in front of me. I'm saying no. It's important that finally put a stop and discover who's this one really, not as an object of perception. And when you remember, you'll know, you'll see. Only then you'll see that everything is you. Only then, like truly, the experience is as everything is you, and there's nothing, there's no them, you, here, there, me. That doesn't exist really. That only comes from the point of view on the individuality. It's fascinating, but that's the power of consciousness that create the illusion of multiplicity. But like I said, the witness of consciousness doesn't see multiplicity, because everything is itself. Everything is just within itself, from itself, by itself. And there's no separation really at all. Put in another perspective, the witness of the movie is the self. The movie is the self. The process of witnessing is the self. The actors within the movie is the self. The drama within the movie is the self. The one watching thoughts is the self. The one, let's say, having doubts is the self. The doubts themselves are the selves, are the self. The illusion itself is the self. There's really no illusion. It's the self being the illusion. That's why the illusion is so powerful. Like I said at the beginning, the real self, all the potentiality, all the power of the self is in everywhere. In everywhere. It means that in the illusion too. That's why the illusion is so powerful, because it's the self too. But like I said at the beginning, we have to make the difference. One thing is things that part of the game of the self, and one is the totality of the self. And that's a big difference. Another example that I bring that simplifies this: imagine that we're going to a theater, and there's a guy that is entering in this particular scene, and he's acting as if it were a girl, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. Underneath the drama, he's portraying to be a girl, okay? Underneath, he knows he's an actor, acting. Underneath, he knows he's a man, actor pretending to be. Underneath is the self, without any confusion, because it knows it is. Like an actor knows it's a man. Let's say it's a man. I'm just pretending to be a tree. That's my role. That's my play. That's my dance. I'm pretending, but I know I am a man or I'm a girl. It doesn't matter. If you go deep within yourself, you know you have always been free. If you really go with it within and deep and are honest, you know that you are, and you are undefinable, and you are divine. Really, layers of being. You end up in just being, and then nothing defines you. The moment you stop defining yourself with this or that, everything crumbles. The reality of the ego crumbles, shakens, and it can be, for some people, can be exciting, like, whoa, finally. For others, might take a little bit long time and say, well, I feel stressed because I thought it was about this. I spent my life doing this. I thought it was about this. But then you just witness all these things that are just there for you to recognize as something that has no value anymore over you. It has, or it had value in the movie, inside the game. It has some value in the game. But what has that something to do with the witness of the game, the watcher of the game? And that's the important thing, to be curious, to be passionate, to be sensitive, of finally discovering that ingredient that has always been in the middle of everything in all your life. You, not the rest. The rest comes and goes, like I said. Thoughts, experiences, sensations, feelings come and go. But on all that, you have always been there. And it's time to give priority to you. The rest comes and goes. It's important at some degree, but it becomes clear when, like I said, the answer is your own self. Without searching, looking, desiring, your true self is desireless. And your true self doesn't have any purpose at all. It only enjoys itself. That's the end of the game, really. It's just for the joy and the love of it. It has no reason. Only reasons are inside the game for the individual. For the self as being everything and everyone, there's no lack, there's no purpose, there's nothing at all. It's everything. Just beauty and love and self-expression, self-creativity, self-imagination, but from a different point of reference, or point of view, just for the love of the game, for itself, for self-love, expressing itself for itself, by itself. Really, it's only by the self. It's just a beautiful cosmic dance that the mind cannot comprehend, but your intuition is calling you home. How do you stop? Recognize that you are home. Stop looking, stop the search. You are home. Really. Everything that you witness is in your heart. It's not outside of yourself. And you have always been home. You have never left. The notion of the ego is like, I left home in this journey. I forgot myself. I need to discover myself. I need to awake. All of that is dreaming, and you have always been in your bed. You have never left your bed. That's just dreaming. Wake up, realize that all of that was just a dream. Stop justifying it, and you'll see that you are in your home, your house, and you are the ruler of your house. You're the ruler of your house. Stop giving your rules, your kingdom to something in the imagination. Just stop it. Be empty. Be here. Be really now. It's that easy. Really, it's that easy. Don't justify the I. Don't acknowledge it. Just explore being the witness of the I, the I-ness. You're behind that. And everything becomes simple from there. The rest, believe me, the rest is just mind games. It's of no use anymore. It had its purpose. And something will be clearer and clearer the more we explore, the more you explore, the more we share, the we more interact. It's so easy. It doesn't really require any time. Don't listen to anything that implies time, objects, or perception. Be empty. And in that emptiness, there's a different kind of freedom. There's a different kind of simplicity. And that's the game. Be excited. Really is that simple. Sorry?
Even in science, we've come around to realizing that something doesn't exist. Nothing exists until it's observed. Interesting, isn't it?
Interesting, huh? I'll give you another example of science that I just came across. How, like I said, the bigness of who you are is unfathomable. I don't remember the game, but I'm just always mixing words. Everything that you see, everything is an illusion, literally.
Yeah.
If you go deeper and deeper and deeper into science, into molecules, atoms, like that, everything is just an appearance of illusion of the power of really, really powerful energies that impossible to discover. Illusion, completely. So let's talk about illusion. If you put all the illusion materialistically talking wise, that you can grab and touch, actually you have never touched anything. If you investigate, you have never touched anything. It's just powerful energies that make you believe that you have touched things. But if you put everything together in all the cosmos, all the universes put together, and you bring them together, all the materialistic thing is no more than the size of this little thing. Everything that you see and perceive from the senses, everything else is just emptiness. So that's just like mind-blowing. So I'm making all this fuss for something that is the size of my tip of my finger. When everything else is just emptiness, well, you are that emptiness being everywhere at the same time. That's why it's so powerful. Because that's why it's so tricky to detach yourself from creation. Because creation, from the perspective of the ocean, creation is a bubble of water, not even a wave. Really, truly. Creation is a bubble of water coming from your heart. That's why you cannot really split yourself into two, because you are still the fullness of creation too. But like I said at the beginning, I'm talking about the fullness of the witness, not a part of the witness. Let's say a bubble that comes out of the ocean, still part of the ocean. It has the qualities of the water, the bubble, the wetness, or whatever you want to call it. That's why it's so powerful, a drop of water for someone that is really thirsty, because it has the qualities of a liter of water still. You know, it's so powerful. But like I said, it's different when you want to discover the fountain, the fullness, the essence of everything. Not everything. That from everything is coming from. And that's when you recognize your true nature. And then you recognize your true nature, it's like, well, you recognize everyone, everything. And it then becomes really, really clear. I'm not saying that it doesn't become clear in the game, but like different clarity comes when you stop justifying division. How do you stop it? You stop I, me, here, you, there, over there, and you become empty. And in that emptiness, everything has a chance to to reveal itself to you in a different way, in a purer way. Before, no, it's those moments of really emptiness that the mind collapses, that the mind cannot really have a place to hide anymore, that you're challenging its reality. That's when true spirituality comes into being, because that's the truth. This moment, and I know what it feels like. I know I've been there, but I prefer the illusion to collapse, to break from, that you see and it collapses in front of you. And when it collapses, it's gone for good, forever, done. But then it's a different game that comes. But that's these angles of exploring. The simplicity of don't fall into its traps. It's so simple, believe me. Why is so simple? Because you're already the fullness of the self. That's why you don't have to try to do, to purify. All of that is within the illusion, the game. Just pay attention. Don't fall into the trap. Don't justify it. Don't acknowledge it. You have this concept that you have read. Don't make them real. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But we're not here to explore, to discover these things. We're here to discover who you are. And who you are is limitless. That's my only concern. Then everything becomes clear and peaceful, really peaceful. Different kind of peace. But the only thing is to challenge those subtle beliefs that you are not the self. Those subtle, how to say it, blind spots that make you believe that you're a limited individual being instead of a divine being. And that's where this is really important. So the building of the ego can actually crumble. But like I said, how do you make sure that it crumbles? Challenging where the real ego is. And it is in the sense of I am this, I am that, I'm experiencing this, I'm experiencing that. Well, who's the witness of the I am? Who's the witness of I? And then suddenly you don't know how to answer, because there's no answer for it. It's the collapse of that which brings about something so pure that cannot be named. And you are that which cannot be named, watching everything happening. And that is the self, free from everything. That's why it's so simple. Stop the trying, stay in the simplicity of being, forget about everything else. But I have to, don't listen. I need to, don't listen. And suddenly you are so free. Because there's really nothing to do, nothing to become. And literal. And then a different clarity rises. Pay attention to the clarity and the intuition, and there's something freer that is finally rising or reborn from within, not from without. Like I said, yeah, we already explored the without, the things, the senses, the mind. Finally, something more that will blossom from within, and that is going to be more real than the rest, because you'll see that will never leave. It's not limited or conditioned by the mind, senses, time, space, and consciousness. Leave aside consciousness. You are beyond consciousness. Don't fall into its traps. Like I said, consciousness traps are the strongest, more powerful ones. Just laugh. Be present. Don't fall. Be curious. Like I said, you're neither this, you're neither that. Neither the phenomena of consciousness, you're not even that. And then, wow, amazing. How simple has always been. Like I said at the beginning, just to finish in, or because I know it's probably late for you and everything, but the game has always been easy. And this approach, or this way where there's only the self and nothing else, is a different ballgame. it is the most simple way of living, because he already acknowledged you as everything. We start from you are everything. There's no lacks in you. Nothing to do, nothing to try, nothing to discover, nothing to cling, nothing to let go. Just don't listen to this I who has all these learnings about things that just are blurring the simplicity of being. And be free. Enjoy. That's all that is left. Just be free. Live freedom. Act freedom. Embrace love. Embrace the depth of you. And the rest will be so clear, will be nothing in front of you. Nothing at all. It's that simple, really.
Thank you very, very much.
Muchas gracias.
No, thank you. Thank you. You are the one creating all of this, which, like I said, I'm honored by your creation. It's unique.
You need to come to New Zealand.
Definitely, I hope I can be there at some point, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, we feel so grateful that you've come into our experience to bring this message. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I hope everything that I went through serves all of you. That's the only purpose of my existence, really. The rest is game. Yeah. And I'll be seeing you often, which is I'm really excited about, to the continuity of sharing and getting to know more and more and more, which I'm really excited,
Excellent.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, Mahima or whoever that is here present has my email in case you want to email me. We also have the private, we're starting to create the private group in case we have the Facebook group if you want sharing the experience, the questions, interact and start to, because we're all in all of this together, and you can help us each other to points of view, question sharing, and all of these meetings that we're having, I'm recording them and creating a library at some point that all of you, if you want, are going to be able to have access, because I know these things are important, but it creates a lot of technical work on the back end for my part, but I'm creating for the future. So you still have more support and more things because I know it helps. And I'm here for you, anything you need, always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarkhan. See you soon.
Thank you. I love you a lot. Thank you. Ciao.